Welcome to the Senate Transportation Committee. It is Tuesday, April 16th. We're going to be talking about complete streets in the T-bill H 868. We have Mr. Rasmussen here to join us. You can introduce yourself and tell us what you had sent us, the suggested language changes.
Sure. So thanks for having me. I'm Jason Rasmussen. I'm the Executive Director at Mountain Scottney Regional Commission. I'm also the chair right now of the Transportation Committee of VAPTA. And you know this, but VAPTA is the Association of Regional Planning Commissions in the state. And so sorry for this 11th hour kind of thing, but this was just something that came to our attention very recently. And we wanted to bring it to your attention. So thanks for that opportunity. Basically, complete streets is something that we view as a very important tool to improve bike and pedestrian accommodation for a variety of reasons. Climate action plan, energy plan, all those good things. And so we just thought that more than anything, clarifying that so I guess it's section 24. 24. Sorry for the confusion. I was calling.
We changed
29. So under that first section, 2402, there's language added basically where a municipality can request sort of consideration of the complete streets improvement. That's great. We support that change. We thought, especially in light of some of these other bills being talked about where the regional plan has a little more purpose for Act 250 and the state designation programs and other things, they should be spelling out in a lot more detail where we want growth, where we want housing, restaurants, retail, etc. And as such, they should also be talking about those infrastructure needs to do that, sidewalks being certainly part of that, bikeway possibly part of that as well. So we thought, we're specifically identified in the regional plan as an addition in there would be nice. So that's one of the thoughts. And then under the proposed changes to section 2403, we thought, so this is where there are basically exceptions to where complete streets don't need to be incorporated in a project. There's a reporting requirement, and we thought it would be important to require and to spell out that when there's a municipal request for the stuff, that written justification really needs to clarify why it wasn't done. That's really, it's as simple as that. Are there any questions?
And then at the very end, the third, that's kind of talks about the same thing.
It's basically the same thing. So the first part is for state managed projects. So that's under section 2403 A2. That's talking about state managed projects. Then below that, B is for municipal projects. It's really the same language. But when there's a municipal project manager, it's basically the same change is what we're suggesting.
So you wanted to have it specifically written in the supplemental written determination.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were thinking. Yep. Again, just for clarity, and it may seem strange on a municipally managed project that a town's requesting it, but it could be Trails Committee, or it could be the Planning Commission, or somebody like that requesting it of the Highway Department. So it makes some sense.
When you're talking about municipal projects, then would this language mean that the town public works doesn't accept, a recommendation from a Trails group or whatever? Are we putting a burden on municipalities here as well? In other words, does a municipality basically have to inform itself that the supplemental written determination, why it was not incorporated? Is that internal to the municipality? I don't understand necessarily the relationship here with a municipally managed project. So I would assume that communication will have to all be internal to the town.
It would, yeah, so I mean, just, I guess, taking a
And
step.
so does this League of Cities and Towns have a view on putting this requirement on the municipality? I'm just trying to sort this out.
Good question.
It's a good question. Again, this is kind of the 11th hour kind of a change. I've not talked to the LCT. I don't know that it's any more of a burden than they already have. Towns are, so the Complete Streets Law was passed, I'm forgetting, 2013 or something in that ballpark. And it's telling both the Agency of Transportation and local governments to basically consider complete streets improvements whenever there's a transportation project. And it spells out in a little more detail what's exempt and what's not. But generally speaking, towns are doing this anyway. And they're reporting annually, and the agency aggregates all the reports. So I don't know that it's a burden on towns necessarily, but if there's concern, I'd be happy to reach out to the LCT.
And my question to you, or maybe Michelle can answer this as well, is that there's a written determination, and then there's the supplemental written determination. Can you just explain the difference between those two things? When somebody's making a determination on complete streets, like what's the first determination is just kind of like go, no go, and then the supplemental is the details?
That's how I understand it, and I'm happy if Michelle has some details on that. Yeah, I think basically, so you're paving town road A, are you considering all users? So should there be, additional width or striping for bike lanes, for example, or something like that? And they might say, no go, because it's, we have ledge and it's cost prohibitive and whatever. And so that supplemental determinant language really just gets into the why. Like, why did you not make that improvement? It's too expensive, or something to that effect.
I don't see what would be in the supplemental that shouldn't have been in the original determination, because the parameters of the decision-making are cost, disproportionate factors, land use, current projected volume. I mean, that's a fairly comprehensive list of reasons why a decision could be not to incorporate, and they're supposed to put the conclusion and the justification for their decision in a supplemental, in a written determination required under the subsection. So I guess I'm not sure if that's done properly. What would a supplemental written determination include that shouldn't have been part of the original decision?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I understand the process, maybe that's part of, but unless we think that the parameters that we give for not incorporating principles somehow is inadequate, but that's not recommended for change. So I guess I'm struggling with what the supplemental would do. I guess that's really what Senator Birchwood is asking.
Honestly, that's a really good question. Michelle, do you have an opinion on that? Not to throw you under the bus, but.
Do you want to testify?
Yeah.
Fully, because you could come up if we're done with questions, Mr. Rasmussen, and then have Michelle sit there instead of doing it from over there. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just thinking there are times when municipalities and regional planning commissions might have different ideas.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering. I doubt it. I doubt it. It's empty.
Oh, do you want me to take that for you?
It's like empty vessel.
It's an empty vessel. Well,
Sorry, that's weird.
It is, isn't it?
mine's also empty.
Um,
Maybe it's a prank.
Maybe.
send everybody, we'll
Okay, I'll
have
take
the,
this for you. Would you like?
But you know what you could do? Look in my mail folder and see if I've got any mail. I haven't looked at it
Okay,
for a
I
few
will
months.
bring that back.
Thank you. Anyway, that's the kind of mail that we like.
Yeah,
Don't feel bad.
yeah, oh, you're-
Oh,
Secret code.
yes,
yeah.
must be, right. You've won a prize, find it.
You know, on the matter of supplemental or not, I think it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other in terms of, you know, from where we're coming from. I think, well, from our point of view, it's just good to make sure that the written justification is addressing why the town's request was not addressed, you know, was not included in the project.
But yeah, so, okay, well, we will hear from Michelle, but we'll learn a little bit more about the process.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can be here if we have any other questions. Ms. Boomhauer.
Thank you. For the record, Michelle Boomhauer, Vermont Agency of Transportation. So sort of at the top level, the agency supports the inclusion of the regional plan element into this language. Given the sort of planning structure we have in the state of collaboration between the agency, the Regional Planning Commission, and the municipality, this would be consistent with how we manage transportation.
So you like number 4, adding that to minutes, you don't see, in your former planning, in your former
In my
lifetime?
former Regional Planning Commission Director lifetime, yes. So that's fine. In terms of this supplemental written determination, you know, I don't know how to comment on this. Jesse Devlin, whose group typically would be making determinations on projects relative to complete streets, said it's a rare occasion when they have to write a determination or supplemental determination as required in statute here.
No, as proposed.
No, so if you go to
Oh, do we
page,
require a supplemental as well?
yeah,
now?
if you go to page 43 of your T-bill,
43.
these are, yeah, we can wait till you get there.
Well, now we're questioning what we did.
I'm on draft number 2.2. Are you?
That's an older-
2.2 or 3.2?
You're in a
3-1.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, hold on.
But it's the same.
That's okay. It's the same.
What
It's,
page is it in?
yeah, you can just skip the page and I can.
Mm,
What section?
40, 42, 43?
It's around that. I believe
44,
maybe
municipal
44,
projects.
So 3.2 on page 42, section 24.
So if
On
you,
page 44, 45.
I shall not need to address that language is page 44.
44.
so that section starts paren 2, the cost of incorporating complete streets principles is disproportionate to the need or probable use as determined by factors including land use, et cetera. The agency shall consult with the local and regional plan. So we're already sort of engaging in regional planning in this sense through complete streets in assessing the factors. And if the project manager bases the written determination required under this subsection, so we already have a written determination in whole or in part on this subdivision, which is the cost, then the project manager shall provide a supplemental written determination with specific details on the factors. And then the added language is, but shall not need to address in the supplemental written determination any design elements desired by the municipality pursuant to subdivision 2402B4B.
So that's in our bill now.
Because you want, if I remember correctly, I can't remember if we added this or the house had it in there now that I think about it, but if I remember correctly, felt like it wasn't needed to kind of, in the supplemental, again, talk about the design elements that.
Yeah, so the reference, the statutory reference is, the things we don't need to talk about in the supplemental written determination, if you go back to 4202B4B, are support the land uses that develop and evolve in tandem with transit and accessibility, including those that provide enhanced benefits to the public, such as through improved health and access to employment, services, and housing. So in other words, in the supplemental, we need to talk about costs, needs, probable uses as applicable, but we don't need to get into a whole detailed analysis.
Oh, wait, this is Senator Birchland.
Maybe they just use that.
First leg.
I'm
Oh,
Kitchell.
I'll be right back.
Thank you.
We look alike.
Same afternoon committee.
I know, we're together all day. We're beginning to look alike.
So I think that's what this supplemental written determination is trying to get at, is it's basically telling us that we don't have to take a deep dive relative to why our determination was not sort of how it relates to the elements of land use, transit accessibility, and public health, access to employment services and housing. So I think it's just trying to sort of take it up to only have to address cost, needs, and probable uses as applicable.
Because that's what that two is cost.
Yeah.
And then would those things be dealt with in the original determination?
No, I don't think they would be dealt with at all. It's basically saying when desired by the municipality, there is an allowance for implementing complete streets design, which proposes for calming and slowing traffic in designated centers specifically, and supports the land uses, et cetera. So I think that it's trying to, I think, emphasize and point municipalities to the fact that these are tools you can use. The complete streets principles are tools you can use to do these kinds of things.
But also the state uses.
And the state can use. And it's also saying that if those things that you may want to contemplate are cost prohibitive, and meet the factors in subsection 2 further on, that you don't have to get into a big dissertation of why you did not implement relative to the criteria here on the land use section in subsection B. That's my take on it.
So it's kind of a.
So what is being proposed here would not, we have this exclusion but shall not need to address. So that,
You would have to address.
what's being proposed is that you would have to address.
Yeah, could I interject again?
Sure.
I think, where we were coming from is it just sounded odd. So the town can request that this is being addressed. And then as written in the bill now, it seemed odd that the project manager shall not need to address their request, essentially. And so our change is basically undoing that. It's trying to say, yeah, the town can request it, that's great. And if the project manager determines it's not applicable for whatever reason, fine, but they need to spell it out in that report, essentially is what I'm trying to say.
And we are okay with striking this language, just to clarify. We are okay with providing, the Senate proposed to strike it out.
No.
We said that shall not need to address.
Oh, shall not need to address.
And they strike out the not need to address.
Yes,
So the supplemental would also have to address the design.
Yeah.
standard.
So should we end it after applicable, period, and get rid of? Are you suggesting we
So
strike?
you're okay with having a supplemental to include the?
Well, it's required now as we read it, right?
Yeah, we already have a supplemental.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not
determination.
saying get rid of the supplemental, but get rid of
Cost,
the
needs,
requirement of the
uses.
supplemental to talk about B or B.
So I think it's, this language in my mind would be redundant to probable uses. And you could also say to needs. So in other words, a probable use would be the design that the municipality submitted that included bike lanes, or the state considered in a paving project that included bike lanes. But for whatever reason, cost, say we didn't include that, we would probably sort of talk about, that's not a good one because you would be eliminating based on the use, but say there was a safety issue with the design that was presented that met the other criteria. We would discuss how the safety issue in conjunction with the desired design elements would impact each other, and that's why we would not recommend going forward with the desired design option. So I think, that's an example of how the supplemental determination, additional written commentary would play out in addressing not moving forward with the Complete Streets project.
So are you
Yeah, are you okay
actually
with it?
just,
That's what I
on
have
page
there.
44, I don't understand a word you've said, Michelle.
As we've meandered around this, but I think what you're saying is we should strike the language, but shall not need to address in supplemental determination because in fact,
Yes.
it's inherent in writing the supplemental. Is that a distillation of?
That's a distillation
So,
of my
This is what
commentary,
the planners were
which,
proposing.
yes, exactly.
That's what they
So-
did here.
So the amendment, right, I got that, but I wasn't sure I was getting what
Yeah, yeah,
Michelle was
that-
saying.
Agreed, that was not, so you're okay with having the supplemental? have
And
more
adding
detail.
specifically identified in, which means that if we want to move the T-bill out of appropriate this afternoon, we need to have these changes added to our amendment.
If we can talk about that, because I don't think we need to move it out this
I want to move this, I've
time.
got.
Oh, really? Because you want to do it before the T-bill? Well, we can talk about it.
I'm-
Okay.
I'm sorry, there's nothing in your mailbox.
Oh, wonderful, nobody likes me. Great, thank you. Maybe I have picked it up, or Hannah might have picked it up. Thank you for checking.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so how does the committee feel about it? AOT is okay with it?
We're
I
fine.
think it does provide more, it's the kind of thing that will just help explain when people have a project like that, project in your district with bike lane, does it provide more written description of
Yeah, it's
why?
more nuanced, but yeah.
All we do is strike those lines and
The change of
add the regional.
regional credits.
If we can move it out today, I would like to, it's on the agenda.
Yeah, well, it's just a question of when you want to move it out because you want to pass it, but we might not be able to pass it this week anyway for other reasons that we can talk about later. But basically, because Senator Chittenden won't be there on Friday.
That's okay, we can pass over it.
Right, so if that's,
Just wanted to get it out of,
if you want to get out of your committee,
Yeah.
yes, we'll talk to you then. Okay, any other questions? So is everybody fine with adding this to the appropriations transportation amendment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
Everybody's okay, so if everybody's okay, Michelle's okay, AOT is okay, planners are happy, we're making improvements to what's. So Megan, can you send that Mr. Rasmussen's document to Jen, or?
Can we just have her delete those lines?
Well, that just explains what the changes are as a strike through. But the red might confuse her.
I know.
Because that's existing, but I was gonna go talk to her. So-
Okay, fine.
Okay,
Sorry, with me.
anything else you wanna talk to us about?
No.
Okay, oh yes, we wanna do that. So this is the section by section of the bill. So when we do get to the floor, which we're thinking
Would be next week.
Tuesday. That also gives us more time to prepare. So I thought, right now, we could go through this section by section and sign any section that people want to do. I assume we will not assign you any sections.
What?
You don't want a section,
I
We're not
don't need
gonna-
one if I'm doing the whole budget.
right, yeah. So I can do section 1 and 2 and 3.
Hold on, we could, Andy.
2A as well.
2A as
2A,
well.
yeah, 2A.
And 3 you said?
I'm happy to do,
I don't mind doing town highway 8 or anything like that. Well, you probably want to do Green Mountain Trails.
I'll go all the way to
I
4.
like to discourage.
You're gonna go all the way to
jumping
4?
Back and forth, I always think that looks chaotic.
Just
so-
once,
Yeah.
yeah. So how many do we have?
Tom, do you want to do the,
Are there any parts that
GMT?
people want to do?
I'm fine with whatever, I think it'd be better if we tried.
I don't like the, I like to stay
Yeah.
away from the questions about stuff that you guys like better than I do.
So we could maybe have you,
I like the simpler town stuff. Although there don't seem to be a lot of that in there.
it is kind of mixed. Could you?
I mean, I can jump around too, I feel like if we keep handing the floor back and forth, it doesn't look
Then
good.
people are confused on who to ask their question for, like,
You know, they can pay more attention.
It's still on YouTube, just like.
yeah.
I don't mind doing section 5, section 6, section 7,
Alright, so
8, 9,
what about 4? Did that,
10, Andy's doing 4, Senate person's doing 4. I don't mind going like from 5 to 10. Unless you guys have a preference.
I mean, so I got Russ Ingalls on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't understand a lot of that other, push your ride and all that stuff and electrify your fleet. You guys said
Do you want the
better
floor
that.
back for those? Do you want me to take that?
I was just seeing what else is happening here, because I was gonna maybe do the.
Yeah, why don't you do, I think you go to Russ, back to Andy, sort of be the MC, the Master of Ceremonies. So section 11 goes back to Andy.
I mean, a lot of that stuff in there, you guys are just better than I am.
I can do something, doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
If there's something you want me to do.
Okay, I can do all those sections, 11 through 15.
Just tell me when you want me to come in.
Are you comfortable with the electric vehicles, EBSE?
Sure. I think standard personally you drive one, so if you,
No, I think that's good. So,
So Tom, how far? Tom on 18, Tom on 19.
you could come, do you want me to do the road usage surcharge? Which we're now not calling the road usage
I
surcharge?
thought it was later on.
That's the amendment.
Well, no, you could go all the way to 26.
That's the second
You
amendment.
got 26,
Well, the amendment changes the name.
Right.
Tom,
No, but I'm saying, that was 32, we have 10 o'clock, 32.
Tom,
You wanna do 17 through 26? Tom?
You got it. And then back to you, Andy, in section 27.
Right.
Andy,
And finish up,
And I can-
keep Andy to finish up.
you're good with that? I don't mind doing any of that other stuff, but all
Yeah,
good.
let's do it too.
No,
Okay,
So the number of times we go back and forth.
I'll drop up and down.
I mean, I think we're all starting to take the Jane Kitchell approach. I think my committee wants me to report the whole
Institutions bill.
institution capital bill.
I hope it is 150 pages.
Well, I'm gonna try not to sound like.
The report we had last week.
Oh my God.
What's this?
No, because people are so glazed over, they just vote yes, because they,
No.
they haven't listened to.
Okay. Well, we'll do this.
I want that out of your committee, but if we don't vote it out of the Senate by next Wednesday, is that a problem for you? If we pass over it until Tuesday,
No, I will have passed out a budget bill that reflects the 1.7 back out that we did and the change on the 2 million. That's in the budget. It's not a problem as long as we work, and then if anything gets changed in the committee of conference, then we will have to reflect it in the budget.
I'm planning on trying to get the bulk capital bill out by Friday.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, we can adjourn.